Hey everybody, it's Rusty. I want to say before I get into the video that I'm not trying to quote-unquote cancel a dead man because, like, he ain't getting any deader. I'm just here, you know, I'm not trying to attack him or anything. I'm just trying to balance the thing, trying to balance everything, I guess, because the band I'm going to talk about right now in this week's video has a very complicated legacy, and it's most definitely a two-sided coin, and I just wanted to address that. Yeah, it's probably going to be brief, but I just wanted to address it. I guess to start a conversation, I don't know. Anyway, so if you hadn't been in the news lately, if you haven't been reading the news lately, yesterday, Norm MacDonald passed away. And if you don't know who he was a Weekend Update anchor for Saturday Night Live from about 94 to 98, or maybe not. But he was on Saturday Night Live. If you would recognize his voice, if you watched Family Guy, Mike Tyson Mysteries, certain episodes of Fairly Odd Parents, you'll know his voice. And yeah, and he's considered to be one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. Definitely one of the greatest Canadian stand-up comedians of all time. However, that does come, and yeah. However, while there is a lot of praise to be had with Norm MacDonald, and trust me, there is also just a darker side to him. Not to him, but just his comedy, I should say. So, first off, let me say that I do find it to be kind of heartwarming that people as varied and diverse as, you know, the right-wing publication, The Daily Wire, and the left-wing think tank, the Gravel Institute, they're actually agreeing that Norm MacDonald was a genius, and he was. But I'm leaving that in. But but it's just, it's hard to talk about, and it's simply put that his legacy is not 100%, shall you say, good. And, you know, if you know Norman anyway, you know that's to be expected. But yeah, it's kind of sad. But it does exist, and to not acknowledge it, to ignore that it doesn't exist, would just be, I don't know, just frankly lying. And I don't want to do that. So yeah, Norm MacDonald, he actually started as a cast member in '93. And this was during the Bad Boys era of Saturday Night Live. And if you don't know, this Bad Boys era is basically dominated by, you know, people like Norm MacDonald, and also Adam Sandler, David Spade, Jay Moore, Chris Farley, a couple of others I'm forgetting. But it was definitely early 90s, and early 90s SNL was, I guess you could say, the early 90s SNL, especially season 19 and especially season 20, was a bit more juvenile and unfortunately a bit more sexist. It got so bad that one of the cast members, Jeannie Garofalo, managed to just quit mid-season because because she hated working with you know, the Bad Boys, which is just a shame because if she whatever. But yeah, Norm's style is just Norm's style is just pretty he doesn't give a shit. That's basically his style. It's just he doesn't give a shit, and unfortunately, that does lead to some of his jokes, more questionable jokes, like and his more questionable actions. Like, he was known for having a very, very troubled relationship with Julia Sweeney, another SNL cast member, and he wasn't. And there was multiple allegations that Norm Macdonald sexually harassed a bunch of women, and it was just and of course he would also attack women writers and all that stuff, and yeah, that and also there was his transphobic jokes, I watched a Norm Macdonald mini marathon with the guys over at That Week in SNL, and there was one joke that kind of stuck out to me. It was about Janet Reno. Janet Reno wanted to see if there was any campaign finance issues that brought up by Democrats and Republicans or others, or both, rather. And Norm made the joke about, we'll find out whether Janet Reno is a man or a woman or both. And it's just like, haha, 97 was not. It's kind of ick, but then he followed it up with a I don't know, a Michael Jackson joke. I don't know, but anyway. So yeah, it's kind of like I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, but it's kind of like people like D.W. Griffith and H.P. Lovecraft. Like, D.W. Griffith was a pioneer in making just the idea of the feature film, and he was just a pioneer and a directorial genius, but he was also a massive, massive racist. And H.P. Lovecraft, he basically invented the genre of psychological horror, or at least, sort of started one of the templates of psychological horror. But he was also a massive racist. And it's just their histories. Yeah, they were great, but they were also dickheads. And Norm is sadly no different, although with him it wasn't race, it was gender. But at the same time, the difference, Norm differentiated himself from a lot of comedians, a lot of modern comedians who just expect to say, oh, bad, right, off of the... He distinguishes himself from all those shitty comedians that will just say their shitty opinions, like, oh, I hate women, and expect to get a lot of clapter. He differentiated himself because he actually wrote jokes, and they were actually funny. And like I said, his style is just, I don't give a shit. And he was a master of not giving a shit. In fact, I will admit, despite me being non-binary, I do sort of like Norm Macdonald's I don't give a shit style of humor. And well, yes, he was bad towards women. He was horrible towards women comedy writers, and he made some transphobic jokes. But at the same time, he also mercilessly attacked the man. He made so many jokes about O.J. and Michael Jackson and NBC after he got fired by Dan Ohlmeyer, which, by the way, I'm probably gonna find his grave and have my dog piss on it. And yeah, he knew how to attack the man, and he knew how to attack the most powerful people in entertainment in Hollywood. And Like, it's... And it's just, like... And when he did it, he was so goddamn funny. He was a genius. It's just that... He was a genius. Yeah. He was a genius. It's just that he was a jerk, too. And, yes, we can... We can, you know, sing his praises, you know, like I said, the mini OJ jokes, the Germans love David Hasselhoff, the Frank Stallone jokes, but, we gotta acknowledge that, we also have to acknowledge that he was not a nice guy to some people, particularly women writers. And I think we could, and like, yes, we should, I think that we should be, I'm saying we should acknowledge both sides of the coin, because if you only acknowledge one side of the coin, then you're just ignoring the other side of the coin and saying, oh, it doesn't exist. That's just lying. And like, a lot of people don't take too kindly to lying. So, yeah, Norm MacDonald, he was a genius. He made me laugh. He made a lot of people laugh. It's just that he wasn't kind behind the scenes. There's a lot of problematic stuff in there. Like, he is great, but he's also problematic. And yeah, the sooner we can be able to, you know, both acknowledge... The sooner we can be able to both acknowledge that, yes, he was funny, but also he was he was a horrible person. Well, not a horrible person, but just horrible to people sometimes. The sooner we can acknowledge that, can acknowledge both sides, because like I don't think it's fair to anybody to say, oh, he was just that one thing or just another thing. We have to get like a yin yang in there, I guess. Just acknowledge, yes, he was a horrible person to some people, but at the same time, he was also a genius, and he was goddamn funny. And I think the sooner we recognize both sides, I think the sooner we can, I don't know, the sooner we can get over it. I don't know, because it's just, you know, I'm not like a literary historian or a film critic or whatever. I don't have a degree in any of this, and I'm not really studying to get a degree in it. My degree is more in video production technology, which is sort of a step below broadcast engineering. So, like, yes, while I am a writer, I don't think I'm really qualified enough to, like, have like a full-on thesis statement and rhetorical paper on him, but I would just like to see the conversation started, because it's rare that we get to see anything fair in this life, and I feel like we should have a fair assessment of Norm's legacy, because, yeah, I've said it millions of times, I'm going to say it millions of times more. Yeah, he was shitty to many people, but he was also a genius. And, yeah, that's just, I've been padding this out for like 10 minutes now. So, yeah. Anyway, if you want to, you can discuss this more in the comments, but please be nice to each other. If you're acting in bad faith, I will kick you out. But other than that, be nice, and I'll talk to you on Monday.